We have been looking at the stars for thousands of years, begging for a sign that we are not alone. But what if the answer we've been praying for is actually a death sentence? NASA's Perseverance rover may have just found the holy grail of biology in the Jezero Crater. But while the headlines are celebrating, there is a quiet terror growing among a specific group of scientists. Because if this rock truly contains life, it confirms a theory that suggests humanity is already doomed. This isn't just a story about a rock. It's the story of the Great Filter, and you need to understand it before the samples come home. To understand the fear, we first have to understand the hope. In February 2021, NASA dropped a car-sized robot named Perseverance, or Percy, into the dust of the Jezero Crater. This wasn't a random landing site. Billions of years ago, this crater was a massive lake. Rivers flowed in, carving deltas and depositing clay minerals, the kind of mud that, on Earth, is a perfect tomb for preserving the dead. For years, Percy wandered the ghost of this ancient river, specifically the Neretva Vallis Channel. And then, in July 2024, it stopped at a rock formation known as Bright Angel. It extended its robotic arm, and its eyes instruments called Pixel and Sherlock looked closer than any human ever could. The rock, nicknamed Chaiava Falls, looked ordinary to the untrained eye, but the chemical scan screamed anomaly. Inside the rock, Percy found veins of white calcium sulfate. That's common, but between those veins were bands of reddish material, and scattered across that red canvas were tiny, millimeter-sized spots. NASA calls them Leopard Spots. They look like poppy seeds. And to an astrobiologist, these spots are the equivalent of finding a fingerprint at a murder scene. Here is why they matter. The spots have a dark outer rim made of iron and phosphate. This specific pattern is a telltale sign of a chemical reaction called iron reduction. On Earth, rocks don't just do this on their own. This reaction is almost always powered by microbes living in the rock, eating the iron for energy and leaving these spots behind as waste. It didn't stop there. Percy also detected organic, carbon-based compounds trapped right next to these spots. So, you have the food, carbon, the energy source, iron reduction, and the water, evidence of the ancient lake. NASA had found the trifecta. Now, hold your excitement. Science isn't about proving things true. It's about trying to prove them false and failing. The team at NASA spent months trying to kill this discovery. They tried to find any non-living way these spots could form. Could it be heat? High temperatures can sometimes mimic these chemical reactions. Perhaps volcanic gases leaked into the groundwater? But the geology didn't fit. To create the specific minerals found like greigite without life, you need massive volcanic heat, pushing temperatures over 200 degrees Celsius. But Percy analyzed the surrounding mudstone. It showed no evidence of ever being cooked to those temperatures. Strike one for the skeptics. What about acid? Maybe the Martian water was just incredibly acidic, dissolving the rock and creating weird chemical stains. This was a strong theory, until Percy looked down and saw a tiny, green crystal nearby. Olivine. Olivine is the weakling of the mineral world. It hates acid. In an acidic environment, its chemical bonds shatter, and it dissolves into nothing. The fact that solid chunks of olivine are sitting right next to the leopard spots proves the water wasn't acidic, it was neutral. Strike two. They ran out of non-biological explanations. They were left with the most thrilling and terrifying conclusion. This rock might actually be a fossil, a record of alien life. But here is where the story takes a dark turn. Because if those spots are life, we have a problem, a big one. Look at the numbers. There are up to 400 billion stars in our galaxy alone. Even if only a tiny fraction have planets, and a tiny fraction of those are habitable, there should be billions of Earth-like worlds. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Earth is only 4.5 billion years old. That means there have been planets capable of supporting life billions of years before Earth even cooled down. If life is common, and intelligence is a natural step of evolution, the galaxy should be teeming with civilizations. We should see their megastructures. We should hear their radio waves. Their robotic probes should have visited us by now. But we see nothing. We hear nothing. Just cold, empty silence. This is the Fermi Paradox. Where is everybody? To explain the silence, scientists proposed the Great Filter. The theory states that there is some massive, incredibly difficult hurdle in the evolution of life. A wall that almost no species can climb over. It works like a sieve. Matter tries to become life. Life tries to become complex. Complex life tries to become intelligent. Intelligence tries to become interstellar. Somewhere along that line, almost everyone fails and dies. The Great Filter eliminates them. Here is the crucial question. Where is the filter? Is it behind us, or is it ahead of us? Depending on the answer, finding life on Mars is either the greatest discovery in history or the worst news humanity has ever received. Let's hope the filter is behind us. In this scenario, the hard part was the beginning. Maybe the jump from dead chemicals to the first living cell abiogenesis is incredibly, impossibly rare. Maybe it's so rare that it has only happened once in this entire galaxy, here on Earth. If the filter is behind us, then we are the lottery winners. We have already passed the test that killed everyone else. We are lonely, yes, but we are special. And most importantly, the path to the stars is open. There is nothing stopping us from becoming a Type 3 civilization and colonizing the galaxy. This is why we should hope Mars is dead. If we dig up all of Mars and find absolutely nothing, no microbes, no fossils, just sterile rock, that is good news. It strengthens the idea that life is rare. It means the hard step was getting started, and we already did it. But Percy found the Leopard Spots. Now, consider the alternative. If Percy confirms that those spots are ancient bacteria, it means life arose twice in just one solar system, independently. In science, there is a rule of thumb: 0, 1, or infinity. Phenomena tend to happen never, once, or everywhere. If life happened on Earth and Mars, two separate planets right next to each other, it breaks the one rule. It implies that life is not a miracle. It implies that life is easy. It's a cosmic weed that grows wherever there is water and rock. If life is easy to start, then the Great Filter isn't at the beginning. It's not abiogenesis. The galaxy should be full of life, but we still see no starships, no alien empires. This leads to a terrifying logical conclusion. The thing that stops civilizations isn't starting life, it's surviving it. It means the Great Filter is ahead of us. It means that evolving from a simple germ to a tool-using animal is easy, but evolving from a tool-using animal to an interstellar species is impossible. If we find life on Mars, it suggests that thousands, maybe millions of civilizations have reached our level of technology. They discovered electricity. They built rockets. They split the atom. And then they hit the wall. They destroyed themselves. Or nature destroyed them. If the leopard spots are real, we are not the lottery winners. We are just the next batch of students walking into a test that has a 100% failure rate. Finding life on Mars destroys our hope of being special. It tells us that we are walking blindly toward a cliff that has killed everyone before us. This brings us back to the $11 billion question. NASA is currently fighting for the budget to launch the Mars Sample Return mission. It is a heist movie script. One ship lands, grabs the tubes Percy dropped. It launches a mini rocket from the surface of Mars, something we've never done, to rendezvous with an orbiter. Then, it flies back to Earth and crash lands in the Utah desert. Why spend $11 billion on a few ounces of rock? Because we need to know if we are doomed. When or if that sample arrives, we will look for two things: chirality and isotopes. Life on Earth is left-handed. Our amino acids twist to the left. If the Martian life twists to the right, it proves it is a completely separate origin. It proves the infinity rule. It proves the filter is ahead. But if the Martian life is also left-handed, then there is a third option: panspermia. Maybe Earth and Mars simply swapped spit billions of years ago. Maybe we are all Martians, or they are all Earthlings. If that's the case, it's just one single origin of life spreading between two rocks. The one rule stays intact. We might still be special. We might still be safe. The Chiava Falls sample is currently sitting in a titanium tube inside the belly of a robot, 140 million miles away. It is a time capsule, but it is also a Schrodinger's box. Inside that tube lies the answer to our past and the prophecy of our future. We are desperate to find aliens. We want to know we aren't alone in the dark. But be careful what you wish for. If we open that tube and find nothing but dust, we should rejoice. The silence of the universe is lonely, but it is safe. But if we open it and find a mirror, if we look into the microscope and see a cousin looking back at us, then we better start preparing for the filter. What do you think? Is the silence of the universe a sign of peace or a graveyard? And do you want NASA to bring those samples back? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to understand more about the incredible machinery that found these samples, check out this video on the engineering behind Perseverance. Thanks for watching, and keep looking up while you can.